Hello, I am Mr. Walid, and in this video I will explain how to find the limit of a function by long division. I have written a question already, so it is find the limit of this function x bar 3 minus 5 x bar 2 plus 7x minus 3 over x bar 3 minus 2x bar 2 plus x when x approaches 1. The first option, of course, is to substitute for x by the value that it approaches. It's approaching 1, so we replace x by 1. Maybe we will get an answer directly like 5, 9, negative 4, 0 maybe. If any real number is an answer, this will save our time. But sometimes we can get a number over 0, like 5 over 0. In this case, the limit is undefined. There is no limit for the function if you get a number over 0. But if you get 0 over 0, that's unspecified, and the unspecified means there is a limit, but you just need to do some work to reach it. Okay, so I substituted here. I made empty bracket for x. Every x I made it become empty bracket, and then I plugged the one inside the bracket. I left the powers as they are, and I left the signs, everything else as it is. Only the x becomes empty bracket. Okay, and I found the value of the numerator became 0. The value of the denominator is 0, so 0 over 0 is unspecified. You can ask yourself, why is it what is the difference between unspecified and undefined? Undefined means cannot be found. There is has no meaning. But unspecified means it can be found, but there is many like 0 here divided by 0 means something times 0 equals 0. So 5 times 0 equals 0. So someone can say the answer is 5 because 5 times 0 equals 0. Yeah. And for example, if you say 6 divided by 2, the answer is 3 because 2 times 3 equals 6. So if I say the answer here is 5, I can be right. But you can say another answer. You can say the answer is 7. 0 divided by 0 equals 7 because 7 times 0 down will equal the 0 up, and that's correct. So there are many answers for one question, and that's why it's unspecified. We have to be more specific. So we will do our way now is to try to factorize. I can see there is factorization can be done down by HCF. The easiest factorization is the HCF. So the factorization by HCF came because x is repeated in the denominator, but it is not repeated in the numerator. This 3 doesn't have x, so x is not repeated up, but it is repeated down. So the HCF says if you have x repeated, take x out with the smallest power. The x with the smallest power is going to be the HCF, the highest common factor. So x power 1 will be out, and then to get what will be left inside, you have to take 1x out from every from x bar 3. When it loses 1x, it will become x bar 2, and x bar 2 means 2x's. When it loses 1x, it will become x, and x, when it's lost here, you can say this place will be 0. No, this x is basically multiplied here. If there is no number written beside it, we can write 1. Alright, it's not written now, but we can write it if we want. X is the same as 1x, so the x is gone, the 1 plus 1 will stay. So that's what I did in the denominator. In the denominator down, I took the x out, I opened the bracket, and so what will be left? Another way to divide every term divided the HCF will give you what will be left. X bar 3 divided by x equal x bar 2. The second term divide that will give you negative 2x, and this term x divided by x equal 1. Anything divided itself equals 1. Alright, what next? What will we do? We have a quadratic trinomial, second degree trinomial. Trinomial of second degree, it is better for you to try to factorize it. We will not leave it without we try to factorize it. Maybe factorizing it is easy. So how do we know? Look at the last term, the last number, the absolute term. 1 can become 1 times 1, right? And the x power 2 can become x times x. So we open two brackets. I will leave, of course, the HCF as it is. I open two brackets. I left. The x power 2 became x times x, and the 1 became 1 times 1. Okay. How about the signs? Where did these two negatives came from? The last sign was positive. It shows me that the two signs are similar to each other. So either they are positive positive or negative negative. Because positive positive is positive and negative negative is positive. So how did I know that they are both are negative? Because if they are the same, they will follow the middle sign. So they will follow the middle sign here, which is negative, so it became negative negative. So that's why it became x minus 1, x minus 1. And of course the HCF has to stay as it is. Okay. This x minus 1 down is called the zero factor. Why? Because if you replace the x by 1, so it will be 1 minus 1, it will be 0. So that's what, this is the troublemaker that we want to get rid of. We want to get rid of the zero factor, x minus 1. And there is another zero factor also, we will get rid of it later. Type. Alright, how do we get rid of the zero factor? Alright, you divide the expression on the top by that zero factor. Why don't we factorize the expression on the top like the same way we did on the bottom? The top expression is a cubic expression, an expression of third degree. It's a little bit hard to factorize more than quadratic expression. Second degree is the maximum for most of people. So x bar 3, x bar 4, x bar 5, this is where you need long division. So you do the long expression, you divide it by the zero factor that you want to get rid of. I'm saying, suppose here x plus 1. So if x plus 1 is not a problem for me, so I don't need to get rid of it. X plus 1 is not a zero factor, but x minus 1 is a zero factor. So I have to divide the long expression by the zero factor. Okay, how I do that? I will do that in another page. Let me hide. Oh, I do the sign of long division like this, and I write the dividend, the big expression on the right, and the zero factor on the left. And I have to mind the order of the powers. Why? Because it's very important to have them arranged from big power to small power. If you have x bar 3, you have to start with is the biggest one, so it has to be in the beginning. Then x bar 2, then x bar 1, then x bar 0, which is no x at all. How about if they are not arranged? You have to arrange them, and they don't change their signs. So you have to arrange if they are not arranged, because that can be the trick in the question. They are not arranged, so you have to arrange them, but they will not lose their signs. For example, if I am moving a negative 5 x bar 2 somewhere in the end or in the beginning, the negative 5 will stay as it is in the beginning or in the end. Also, the divisor here has to be arranged from big power to small power as well. Okay, you can ask a question. How about if a power is missing? For example, x bar 2 is missing. There is x bar 3 and then there is x bar 1. If x bar 2 is missing, you write plus 0 x bar 2. Why do we do that? We will be needing it when we move forward in the steps. We will be needing the place of x bar 2 to be reserved. So if there is a missing power, write plus 0 of x of that missing power. Suppose x power 2 and x power 1 are missing, so we write x power 3 and then plus 0 x power 2 plus 0 x power 1 and then plus or minus 3. If there is no minus 3, you can write plus 0. Alright, so now we know what we do if there is a missing power. But in this question there is no power missing, so I'm not gonna write 0 of anything. I will start the steps of long division. I wrote them on the top. First divide, then times, then minus, then drop down, then start again. We will learn every step one by one now. Divide means divide the first term in the dividend by the first term in the divisor. So that's what I wrote here. I divide the first term in the dividend by the first term in the divisor. The answer is x power 2, and then I put the answer of division right under the divisor. This is the place of the quotient of the result of division. You put the answer of division always under the divisor. Okay, what do we do? You say to me x power 3 divided by x equal x power 2. Why? Because we minus the powers. When we do divide, you minus the powers. The power up is 3 and the power down is 1, so you do x power 3 minus 1, so that's gonna be x power 2 on. Now we finished the divide, we go to the next step, which is times. You time what? You multiply the answer that you got now from division, you times it by the whole divisor. All the divisor in a bracket, you put it in a bracket and you multiply it by the answer of division that you got. So that's what I wrote in the second step here. I wrote x power 2, the answer of division, times the divisor in a bracket or parentheses. Why? Because it has to be multiplied by all of it. So it will be multiplied, x power 2 will be multiplied by x, by the first term, and also multiplied by the second term. So x power 2 times x will be x power 3, and x power 2 times negative 1 will be negative x power 2. So where do we write this answer of multiplication? This answer of multiplication goes right under the dividend, down here. So I wrote x power 3 minus x power 2 down here. Now I finished with times. Now I do minus. What minus what? The up minus down. We write minus in a circle like this, and start doing subtraction. So 1x power 3 minus 1x power 3, you can write 1 here if you like. 1 minus 1 is 0. So it will be 0x power 3, which is 0. So no need to write zeros in the beginning of this division. We'll write the zeros later when we finish all of it. So if the answer is 0, no need to write it for now. Here, 0x power 3 in the beginning. Okay, now we do negative 5x power 2 minus, a lot of people they say minus x power 2. That's gonna be wrong. You have to mind the sign here. So you have to read everything that you have. Negative 5x power 2 minus negative x power 2. So you don't miss a sign. If there is a negative sign written, don't miss it. So what do we do? Negative 5 minus negative 1. Here, if there is no number written beside the x power 2, you can write 1. So it's actually the coefficient here is negative 1. So we do negative 5 minus negative 1. So the answer will be negative 4x power 2. You keep the unknown as it is. In addition and subtraction, the unknown, the like terms, they don't change in the unknown part. The like terms stay. Like you say 2 bins plus 1 bin equal 3 bins. So bins. So we stay the like term. If you are doing a multiplication or division, the powers will change. But in addition and subtraction, if you have like terms, they don't change. Anyway, we continue. After the minus, we drop down the next terms. After we drop them down, we start all over again. What? The first term in the result here divided the first term in the divisor. So negative 4x power 2 will be divided by the first term, which is x. Negative 4 divided by 1 will be negative 4, and x power 2 divided by x will be x, because the powers, when you do them, minus. So it will be x power 2 minus 1, which is x power 1. So x power 1 is 1. X power 1 is is no need to write power 1 if the power is 1. X only means x power 1. We write the answer of division under the divisor, negative 4x under the divisor here. After the writing the answer of division, you multiply this answer of division that you just got times the divisor, like the steps says, after division times. So I time this answer only because I already did the x power 2 before. I'm not gonna use it again. I did it before, so I will do now negative 4x only times the divisor. After you multiply, you will get negative 4x times x and negative 4x times negative 1. So we are doing times here. Negative 4x times x will be negative 4x power 2, because we add the powers when you multiply. Negative 4 multiplied by 1 here will be negative 4 x times x power 2, and then you multiply negative 4x times negative 1. Negative times negative is positive. 4 times 1, 4x times 1 will be 4x, and then you write this answer under the dividend here. Then you subtract up minus down. Negative 4 minus negative 4 will be 0. Okay, negative 4x power 2 minus negative 4x power 2, 0, but we don't have to write that now. And 7x minus 4 minus positive 4x, 7 minus 4 basically will be 3x, and x stays as it stays, as we said before. And then we drop down the next, after minus, drop down. So we drop down the next term, which is negative 3, and start divide again the first term. 3x divided by x, that's gonna be 3 only, because x divided x is 1, so it's gonna be 3 times 1, which is 3. And we write the answer of division under the divisor here. It is 3, so I write plus 3. If it's minus 3, I write minus 3. If it's 3 only, it means it's positive. Why do I write sign here? I need a sign. I can't just write 3 only. I have to write its sign before it. If it is positive, I write plus. If it's negative, I write minus. And then I multiply 3 by the answer that I got by the divisor. So 3 times the divisor, 3 times x minus 1 in parentheses. So 3 will be multiplied by the x and multiplied by negative 1. So 3 times x will be 3x, and 3 times negative 1 will be negative 3. This is going to be written under the dividend here, and then you do minus. Now when you do minus, because up and down are the same exactly, when you do them, minus 0. This is not the answer of division. This is basically the remainder of division. The answer or the quotient of division is right here. So this whole expression became the multiplication of these two factors. These are the two factors. When you time them together, you get this expression. You say to me, how hard? Imagine that I didn't do all that. Imagine I did 6 divided by 2, and the answer is 3. I will write it in the paper. Imagine it like this. I did it like that. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So 6 can be written as 2 times 3, right? So this expression can be written as the multiplication of these two expressions. So these are now going to be written multiplied by each other instead of this expression, but you have to put them, of course, in parentheses when you time them. So these are the two factors of that long expression. So it's x minus 1 times x power 2 minus 4x plus 3. That's what I wrote right here. It became x minus 1 Alright, let me hide the rest of this answer. X minus 1 in a bracket times the other factor that I said, x power 2 minus 4x plus 3, and we got already the denominator factorized, and we got the limit x approaches to 1 is already there. Now we can get rid of the zero factor, but we are not done of them both yet. There is another zero factor here is still troubling us. How do we get rid of them? Anything divided itself equals 1. So x minus 1 can be crossed out with x minus 1 because there is multiplication here. So it means they are divided up and down by each other. And here also, but if there is plus or minus, you cannot cross. Some people, they say they may cross anything, cross. No, you have to cross out if you have similar factors, and the similar factors up and down, they have to have times sign beside them, not plus and minus. Anyway, when the x minus 1 is gone and the x minus up and down are gone, one x minus 1, this other x minus 1 will stay, and it's still making trouble for us, as I will show now. Now I wrote the what's left on the top and what's left on the bottom. But if I substitute again by 1, I will still get 0 over 0. Why is that happening? Because I still didn't get rid of the other zero factor. So now it's not a very we don't need long division. You can do long division, but it's gonna be a waste of time because the other factor, the other expression here is a quadratic, and it can be easily factorized because 3 can be 1 times 3 and x can be x times x. So it's not gonna be very hard to factorize manually, not by long division. So I wrote, instead of this quadratic expression, I can make two brackets. X bar 2 becomes x times x, and 3 becomes 1 times 3 or 3 times 1. Okay. And now what? The signs. The signs are the same because the last sign is positive. So the signs are same to each other, the same as the middle sign. So the middle sign is negative, so they will be negative, negative. And if you multiply really these two factors by each other, you will get this back. X times x equal x power 2, x times negative 1 equal negative 1x, and negative 3 times x equal negative 3x. And when you add negative 1x and 3x and negative 3x, you will get negative 4x. And then if you multiply negative 3 times negative 1 will be positive 4, positive 3. Negative times negative is positive. 3 times 1 equal 3. Now we could factorize the quadratic expression, and we got rid finally from the zero factor on the bottom. How? Because x minus 1 will be cancelled with x minus 1 as we said before. So all what will be left will be x minus 3 over x, x minus 3 over x. And now when we substitute, we will have no more problem. So you write, instead of the x1 now, 1 minus 3 over 1, that's going to be negative 1, negative 2, sorry, negative 2, 1 minus 3 is negative 2 over 1. It is now negative 1 over negative 2 over 1 equal negative 2. And this is the end. I know it's long, but it's not hard, and it is possible. Just need some time and patience, and focus on what you're doing. And I wish you good luck. Goodbye.